foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes, facts, boots, and other stuff.
In this week's issue,
Wonder Woman. Well, at least her origin. Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, joined as always by the mighty man himself, Mr. Mike.
hello.
And we are coming to you in
By the
March.
way, I never want you to forget, nobody watches this.
That's true. I talked to,
It's my favorite fan.
No
one watches this.
I talked to somebody recently about that. And I was like, the funny thing to me is that you listened and then stopped and came to tell us that nobody was listening.
Yeah, it's
it's very funny to
insane.
me.
Yeah.
It's not. I find it humorous at this point.
We had the same thing in another one of our shows where this guy kept coming in and he was very worried about my co-host's well-being, but in kind of an asshole way.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would block him, and he'd come back as another account. I'd block him, he'd come back as another account.
Okay.
It must have happened like 10 times.
Wow.
This guy just had 10 accounts
He
set
just
up.
did not like you.
No, he just loves to troll.
Oh,
I mean,
well,
that's really
true.
all
Some
it is.
people,
Yeah, just loves to
some
troll.
people are like that, and that's fine.
Troll
What we
the
are
love,
here
troll.
is we are Bros, Foes, and Heroes. That is the name of our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And each week, I, Zach, Mike, who I introduced, I present Mike a either comic book character or a specific comic story or storyline, or sometimes we've even dived into the history of stuff because I wanted to, before we covered Mr. Miracle back at the start of last year, I wanted to give Mike as much of the kind of backstory to stuff as I could, because that's the thing. Mr. Miracle, not only is it my favorite book, but it's one of those, and it's not, I'm not saying this is the only comic like that. This is the one that I know because it resonated with me on so many different levels for a lot of different things that when you dive into it, you can find the little winks and nods to the history of things. And so I wanted to give Mike some of that. So there have been times where we gave kind of history of the comic book industry at times. And honestly, we pepper it in whenever we talk about it. You learn so many different things by listening
What's
to
that
us.
Hulk behind you?
So I just randomly, I like to switch it up. This is one of the ones that was from your attic.
Oh, okay.
It's part 2 of Future Imperfect.
Oh.
You don't have part 1.
He kind of looks like Savage Dragon from here.
Well, there's a little bit. It's Old Man Hulk. I think this is the first Old Man Hulk because he's got like a beard. And
Okay. All right.
I thought that we would do that story at some point in time. One, because we have never really done Hulk too much.
Yeah, we haven't. Yeah, that's true.
And 2, because like you had part 2, but I need to find part 1.
We did All-Star Comics, The Hulk, but we didn't
the
do the
Hulk.
Hulk.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about the Heap at one point in time when we talked about Swamp Thing and Man Thing.
Oh, yeah. There you
But
go.
what we're doing today on today's show, on World's Finest Wednesday coming up for you. I know we teased it last Wednesday, but just so you know, we have Batman Under Sea and the Batmarine.
Batmarine.
We didn't get to name it this time. They named it for us. But
Okay.
we get to look at the first time the Batmarine is in use in a very silly and dumb story that
That's
Mike
a weird
is going to
name
love.
for it, though.
The Batmarine?
Yeah. I mean, I know
it's
I'm assuming it's a submarine,
It is.
but Batmarine doesn't make me think submarine. You know what I mean?
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Well,
I
but
just call it the wet bat.
that's true.
Yeah.
But we have the second ever annual of Batman that we've kind of been working our way through of just some silly stories. We covered him as an Indian chief last week. We have the first story of the Batmarine. I think coming up we have him inheriting a Scottish castle
Ooh.
next week. So yeah, you can look forward to that
Bat-kill.
on our World's Finest Wednesday. But today we are going to be covering Wonder Woman, and we're looking at, I have the Wonder Woman Chronicles. I love these books that DC printed a while back.
We have not done any sort of Wonder Woman.
We
yet,
have not,
Yeah.
but it is March, which is Women's History Month.
Yeah.
It is fitting for us
Herstory.
to cover an actual solid woman character. We had Purple Tigress for a little bit, but that was just more to laugh at.
Count.
No, that does not count. We are going to cover Wonder Woman and the beginnings of Wonder Woman as a character. Do you know much about Wonder Woman?
I know she spins around in a circle real fast.
No,
and changes.
that's Linda Carter.
Oh.
But what I wanted to do was give you a little bit of the history of Wonder Woman 2, and we're going to focus on the start of it before we dive into. We are still going to do Wonder Woman Dead Earth. We have to.
Okay.
Because I have it checked out from the library, and I need to read it before I check it back in.
They're not getting it back till I
Yeah,
get to read
but
it.
also, I mean, it's the same creative team we've talked about of a book that I love that worked on Do a Power Bomb. It's the same
Bible?
creative team for that. That is a massive,
A big book.
massive group to get everybody
old
back
book.
together.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep.
I mean,
my
you
nose
see them
there.
at that. I guess it was like a wrap up dinner they had at the end of it. You know, where they all got together in that one room.
Are you talking about the Last Supper?
Well,
That's
supper,
the
dinner, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Come on. You know that who was all there. You could probably tell me who was who if you
Gary
looked at
Marshall.
it.
He was on the end.
He directed it. That was right before he did Pretty Woman.
Now everybody move to the left.
Man, the bits that we have that nobody gets at this point. Let me wrangle us back in. So Wonder Woman. Okay.
We were talking about Gary Marshall before. This,
No. Oh, we were for a little brief moment. We're going to talk about Wonder Woman and mainly the beginning of Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman is created by a psychologist and writer named William Moulton Marston. Okay.
Great, a man.
William Moulton Marston studied at Harvard. He also taught at Tufts University. I think he taught at Americans University, but he taught at Tufts University.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that Tufts University, this is going to be important, obviously, but I'm pretty sure, I know it was private. I think it might have been a woman's college at one point in time.
I think you're right.
I'm trying to double check that before we continue because I don't want to be wrong, but
Tufts,
let
right?
us know if you know TUFTS. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tufts
you
is
go. I'll look
one.
it up.
And that's going to be important. But a little bit about William Moulton Marston. So early on, his early work, he marries a woman who was named Elizabeth Holloway Marston, also known as Sadie, is her nickname. But Elizabeth tells him one night while they're talking, like, I've noticed that women sometimes with our emotions. It
started as a male college. In 1892, it became they opened it up to women.
Okay, so never mind. So it was open to everybody. My apologies then.
Who are you apologizing to?
Our audience, because I like to deliver facts.
Well, we just did.
I don't know why I just winked.
You got your money's worth. There it is.
Right.
You got it.
I'm the only news channel that winks at their audience.
You know all the Tufts University history that we know.
Why don't you send us a shirt?
Ooh, I'd wear a Tufts shirt.
You know what? By the way, I have it down here. I didn't reference it at all last week, but down. Let me make sure I have it because I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna make sure that I switch us just for this bit. Down right over here is where it'll be. Email us. Oh, yeah. I don't have. You know what? I already have it in here.
You should email.
I should just bring it up. Boom, right there. Look at that. Call to action. Email us if you want to. You got any recommendations of what we should cover? You got any questions for me and Mike? Go ahead and email us. Hey, you feel like you want to send us a Tufts University T-shirt? Email us and we'll tell you how you can send it to us.
I'd love to take a Tufts University from somebody. Actually,
there we go. We'll leave it.
I would take any sort of T-shirt anybody wants to send.
That is Mike.
And I will wear it. I don't care.
Too.
Yeah.
So we're going to cover Wonder Woman. I'm telling you about William Moulton Marston. He taught at Tufts University too. Okay. But his wife, what
did he teach?
Psychology. He was a psychologist.
Oh, that's right. You said he was a psychologist.
I don't know if it has the actual. It probably does have the actual class he taught here. If I dug.
101 and 102.
But he did
Maybe
teach
even 103.
Psychology. That is where he meets somebody very important to this.
Okay.
And we'll get into that there in a second. So early on,
the name of Princess Diana.
A lady by the name of Olive, actually.
Oh, okay.
But let's talk about his wife, Sadie, or Elizabeth, that we were talking about. One night she tells her husband, I think the story goes where it's like, hey, I noticed that, sometimes when women, we try to, we're talking to other guys and we're trying to, engage them, even when we're, lying, we kind of come a little bit flustered and it raises our, heartbeat a bit.
Right.
And so it got him thinking, and he's like, I wonder if blood pressure has something to do then with the thought of, being truthful. And he used it and created a test of it that worked for it that became known as the first, the polygraph test, the lie detector test.
He invented the lie detector?
Yeah, he was one of,
really?
William Moulton Marston.
Wow.
Yeah. Let me see if he was one of the, co-creators for this. I'm trying to find.
The non-admissible lie detector test.
Yes. She's not listed as a collaborator on this, his wife, unfortunately. She's also not listed as a collaborator, her or Olive Byrne, on Wonder Woman when they probably should be. And we'll get to those stories then too. So he worked on, I should have had this out a little bit better before we've done this, but to find the actual names. Marston was the creator of the systolic systolic blood pressure test, which became one of the components of the modern polygraph, invented by John Augustus Larson in Berkeley, California.
Okay.
Marston's wife, who I told you about, Elizabeth.
So without his invention, that couldn't have been.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
Marston's wife, Elizabeth, suggested a connection between emotion and blood pressure that she noticed out, like I told you about her and her friends being out. Yep. Like when she got mad or excited, that it seemed like her blood pressure kind of rose, and she thought there might,
Sure.
Marston thought there might be a connection, and so that's the part that came to it. Elizabeth's not listed as a collaborator on this, and others actually refer directly or indirectly to Elizabeth's own work on her husband's research, kind of like, that she did a lot of work too to help him out with this. That's the thing, is she is a very supportive wife throughout all of this, and she helps him a lot with his research. Like there's one point in time where they wrote an article for Family Circus, I think he and his wife, where they talk about being how to be a better conventionalist family, or being things to be a more conventionalist family, or be a better kind of family, how to the American family, all that. Like they just wrote kind of a piece for Family Circus that you would see in a magazine like this. But she would help him with these things. But one of the things are with different things. But one of the topics that was brought up was the American comic book. Olive, which was one of his students at Tufts University that I brought up here, who he also grew a fancy for, wrote the article here for this, where she interviewed him, asking him about that. And he brought up himself that he thought that he viewed comic books could be like they reached the large mass of like the youth. And he thought that it could be used as a good like teaching kind of element of like they hadn't reached their full potential because they didn't realize like the masses they reached. Yeah. And so he thought comics could do more.
Okay.
This got the attention of Max Gaines.
It was obviously wrong.
Well, this got the attention of Max Gaines. I don't know if you know who Max Gaines is.
Mad Magazine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not yet. His son,
Bill Gaines.
Bill.
Yeah.
Max
invented the horse buggy.
No, but Max did have EC Comics, or like I think it's
EC.
It became Educational Comics.
Oh, okay.
But also National and All American Comics at the time, and all of this. Things that would become DC Comics.
Okay.
He worked with. But he sees this article, and so he reaches out to him and offers him. He's like, hey, you think that comics can be more? I like what you thought of the medium. Like, I want to give you a chance. Mm-hmm. And so he's sitting here thinking of ideas. And the first idea he comes up with, as he's sitting there, he's like, I want to create a comic book character that doesn't solve his problems with like his fists and stuff like that, but instead solves them with love. And his wife tells him, well, that's great, honey, but whatever you do, like, make sure she's a woman. Like, that's what you should do. And that kind of got him thinking of, like, you're right. Like, there's not necessarily, like, a strong woman out there. In an interview, like I told you about, in October 25th, I'm going to go ahead and read from Wikipedia to kind of sum up better what I just told you. Thank God. Yeah, I know. For those who can't follow me. An interview conducted by his partner, Olive Byrne, because he started dating her. They were in a throuple, by the way. They are very progressive. Okay. So William Moulton Marston is in a relationship with his student, Olive, and also his wife. Olive, I think, would move in, and they would refer to her as like the live-in nanny. Okay. But he ends up having kids with Olive and with his wife. He has kids with both of them, or maybe he doesn't have kids with his wife and just with Olive. Anyway, I think he has kids with both. But like there's a relationship between the three of them. Mm-hmm. Like it's a polyamorous relationship. Mm-hmm. William Moulton Marston and both his wife and Olive are all very much into like the women's suffrage movement there at the time too. Olive's mother actually opened the first women's birth control clinic in the entire United States.
Oh, wow.
While at Harvard, where both William and his wife Elizabeth went to Harvard together, but also before that, or I think she went to, could women go at the time? Anyway, William went to Harvard, but they met at grade school. But while William was at Harvard, he was a part of the men's club that supported like the women's suffragette movement too. Like he was very big, like an early supporter of the women's movement and an early like feminist, I guess, or supporter of like the feminist movement there. Sure. So Wonder Woman is born from the beginning of like that early suffrage movement. Mm-hmm. Also, though, things that I found out is that like Olive, while teaching at Tufts and dating his student, Olive
Fell in
would
love with a guy
sneak
with
him in.
giant forearms.
Would sneak William into like some of the sorority like houses and like the pledges they would have.
They were looking for
and
a
they
fourth.
would have like baby baby parties and stuff like that where they would make the pledges like dress like babies and act like babies.
Oh,
And he was very just like, all right, the psychologist in him is very much like, okay, like taken back by these things, or how they were like bonded, like, there's a lot of bondage and BDSM and stuff in early Wonder Woman. There's a lot of,
so it's kind of like, what was her name? Betty Page kind of
yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Although, I think that
probably about the same time, right?
the look of Wonder Woman is supposed to have been taken from Olive Byrne. At
When
least
did
her
Wonder
bracelets,
Woman premiere?
1941.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that
Betty
makes sense. That's about the
Page-
Betty Page kind of thing.
Yeah.
Betty Page is more 50s, I think, but I think she started in the 40s.
Betty Page was born in 1923.
Yeah.
She
that would
lived
be
till
about
2000.
right.
Did you realize that she lived till 2008?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I didn't either. Her discovery, late 47. So
okay.
a little bit
well,
before
that's
that.
about, I mean, that's
But yeah,
kind of
yeah.
in the same. We've got, at least you can tell it's the same mindset, right? Like the same, kind of feeling.
So I told you about the Family Circle article.
I never would have put those two together.
Yeah.
You know?
But there is kind of a look there.
Yeah, but there is kind of something
her look
there.
is apparently supposed to be taken from Olive
Olive.
Byrne. Yeah, and the bracelets, for sure. The bracelets, the gauntlets she wears is for sure taken from Olive. Like Olive
Okay.
wore bracelets like that.
Okay.
But in the early 1940s, the DC comic line was dominated by male characters. Oh, here we go. Marston introduced the idea of Wonder Woman. He called her at first, I think it was Suprema the Wonder Woman, and they eventually dropped Suprema, and they just called her Wonder
that's a good
Woman.
move.
But Marston introduced the idea to Max Gaines, along with co-founder Jack Leibowitz of All American Production and our publications, and they were given the go-ahead, and Marston developed Wonder Woman, basing his character on the unconventional, liberated, powerful, modern woman of his day. So this is like he is basing Wonder Woman off his like just powerful of like what they strive for the woman to be kind of
Well, it's
thing,
like
of what he's teaching and what he is supporting in like the movement of this.
Have you seen that girl on TikTok that does the "I'm in pants"? That girl, you know what I'm talking about?
No.
She pretends to be like a woman in the 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, and she just comes out and goes, "Holy, I'm a woman in pants. I'm wearing pants. Look at me."
No,
I'm
for
just- I don't
me,
know.
I remember the one. There's a couple that
Pants.
she always talks to her husband, and it was on there. But she always called him George, and she would talk like, and she would do the same. But it was like the '50s housewife, and
Yeah.
I would I would die laughing from
Yeah.
that. But it was the same thing. Well,
Yeah.
no, it was both of them. He would talk back, but yeah. I promise you, we're about to get funny. I'm just giving you the
Oh, this
serious.
has been a laugh fucking riot so far.
We're about to get. First of all,
Yeah.
to you, Mike.
Hey,
not
watch
to
out.
The rest of them, to you.
Now
not
there's
to
no
you,
monetization
to Mike.
possible.
Can
He
they tell?
hates all of you. Look at that.
To Mike.
God.
How can I? Hold on. Let me pull myself up. Hey, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, I see it now.
Look,
Okay.
look at it. Turn and look. No,
Ah!
other way.
Oh. Ah!
Yeah. There you go. That was an audio. That was a video gag. Oh, man, you're gonna have to go look
Yeah.
at it. Anyway. Oh man.
This is terrible.
So what I did, and they went on him. Artist Harry Peter. Harry G.
Excuse me?
Peter.
Pardon me?
Harry Peters. Is it Harry Peters or is it Harry Peter? Now I have to look. Created
she's in
then.
pants.
It's H.G. Peter.
Look at her go.
Now we're gonna get
She's in
demonetized.
pants.
Cool. By the way, today's show not
pants.
sponsored by H.E.B. Wild Red.
Yeah, well.
One day we're gonna get that sweet
Her name is
H.E.B.
at
ad
M
money.
August. E.M. August. M. August, if you hear this, I will be amazed. But
Let
you're
Mike-
in pants.
Let Mike know at our email that's
Oh, I'd
wherever
love it.
it's at.
I'd
that I'm
love it if
aiming at.
M. August would email me.
Anyway, so that's
She
the
is funny.
backstory of Wonder Woman gets created, and she appears in her first appearance that's what I was pulling up to get is All Star
Field and
Comics
Stream
number
magazine.
8 in January. It's the December 1941 - January 1942 appearance. All Star Comics number 8,
The walleye.
and then they essentially start like there is a lot of people like Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So much so that Sensation Comics, which is a new title
Oh, you
that
mean at the time?
Yeah,
A lot
at
of
the
people-
time.
It
at the
went
time,
well.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
It's created. Sensation Comics number 1 kicks off the start of 1942.
I would have
After
thought
her
that'd
first
be a hard
appearance.
sell at the time.
It would
you
be.
know?
Well, I included something that I found very interesting that I'll wait till we get to it to cover it.
Sure.
Because I thought it was like, oh, this is actually really cool. Either
Yeah,
they're
there's no reason
pushing
to be
for it.
interesting now.
Fine. they have times where there's like athletes and stuff at the time that are like, I find Wonder Woman really cool. Like,
wow.
yeah. And so like, there's like promos for it. And I saved one in one of the issues that we'll get to. But then, so she then appears in Sensation Comics but
I don't
in
like
the
the
middle,
title, but all right.
Sensation Comics. Well, here's
Sensation
how
sounds like a
popular she
BDSM
is.
comic.
By the summer of 1942, she appeared in December 41/January 42. By the summer of 42, 6 months, Wonder Woman #1 is already out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, there have been times, she's been printed for the most part since then. There have been times like when we've talked about, Frederick Wortham and his panic that he created about comic books and how there was a time it basically almost completely killed the industry.
How it led to the Comics Code, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we talked about the Comics Code, but then also how it kind of killed the industry. People don't want to make superhero comics anymore. It was a lot of just like educational Bible stuff, or just like Pat Boone got a comic there for a second, and it all looked like it was going to die.
Better.
Like, people didn't want to be associated with people who created comics. There's one of the stories that I remember from the Marvel history, or the Sean Howe book that I think we've talked about, that talks about the whole history of Marvel Comics. That it wasn't it might have been Carl Everett, who worked on comics forever and they had donated stuff to the school of like things he had worked on, and the kid had brought home back the whole box because the school refused to take it. And they just essentially like burned it everywhere. Like, nobody wanted anything to do with comics. So like during that time, like Wonder Woman's canceled for a bit, but then she's brought back, and she goes through like there's a time where
comics
she's
were
not
the Two Live
necessarily
Crew of
even.
their day.
Yeah. Well, there was a Senate. Remember, there was like Senate hearing about like how evil they are and how they're corrupting the youth. Frederick Wortham thought, Batman and Robin are gay. Like, horror comics are too scary.
Yeah. Right
There's so much sex and crime, and it's just rotting your kid's brain. There's always something, because if it's not that, it's video games.
A nice BDSM comic.
No, this was before this. This is
okay.
early Wonder Woman. All right, we've talked enough. I thought that William Moulton Marston was kind of interesting to live that life.
Very interesting, yeah.
And all that there. H.G. Peter is the artist for all of this. He doesn't get credited for a lot of it.
What's his first name?
It is Harry.
Okay.
Harry George Peter.
Harry George Peter.
H.J.
Well, we're in Texas. We have an entire chain of supermarkets called H-E-B after Howard E. Butts.
That's true.
So, same thing.
All right, let's go ahead and get into Wonder Woman. What we're going to cover
One
then.
side lemonade's made, the other side's fudge. I don't know if you realize that, but
so
covered both of them.
Here's how we're going to break it down, Mike. We're going to get into early Wonder Woman. I'm going to present you her first ever story, her second ever story. Then we're going to skip ahead a little bit. We're not going to cover Wonder Woman 1. I'm going to tell you a story from Sensation Comics #7 and #9 then, just because they're funny and humorous. So we're just going to kind of get a look at early Wonder Woman to show you what early Wonder Woman's like.
I will say this.
And then we're going to come back hopefully next week with Wonder Woman Dead Earth, which is something more recent, but that way we can tie these two together. Go ahead.
For an old-ass comic like this, the 10-cent comic and all that, and it's not like...
Well, this was a reprint that I found a scan for.
Okay.
That's what you're going to talk about, how good it looks.
What I was going to say is that cover, that's kind of a cool cover. I mean, I kind of like it.
There is some cool art.
Usually we make fun of those.
You.
Well, but...
I just want people to know. Well, granted, with these, I can feel fine about making fun of these people because they're not around anymore. So what we have is the JSA. I also want to
if you really break it down, the Hawk guy, his face is a little funky.
So we have the Justice Society of America, which is kind of the first superhero team, but you see Hawkman there, which people know. Back behind them, I'm pretty sure, is Dr. Fate and the Atom, Sandman, Spectre. We're familiar with Spectre. We talked about him in Kingdom Come, which, by the way, Mike, if I may, Johnny Thunder is also there. And they talk about two new members, Dr. Midnight and Starman, are in the globe that they might add. But this is the cover for All-Star Comics #8, where we get the debut
right down there in the bubble
of Wonder Woman. Actually,
right down there in the bubble, that's Owl Mountain and Pellet.
Is Owl named Pellet?
Owl's named Pellet. Yeah.
But Spectre we covered in Kingdom Come.
Right.
Remember
that.
I would like to plug, just selfishly, because it is one of my favorite stories, at least, in general. Like, we really love Kingdom Come. But we talked about, remember this last year, DC did those compact comics where it's like book size and it's only $10. Mm-hmm. They're printing Kingdom Come as one of those coming out in May. Huh. So if you have not read Kingdom Come and you would really like to, in May, so next month, you can get it for $10 and it'll be like book sized. And I cannot recommend it enough. I am interested to see, though. Check it out. I want to see before you would buy it. Just check it out to see, because they're taking Alex Ross's beautiful art and kind of shrinking it down a bit to book form. So I wonder what that looks like. I'm sure it'll be fun.
Is this the same Dr. Midnight that's in Watchmen?
No.
Isn't that a Dr. Midnight that's in Watchmen?
That's Owlman, Dr. Midnight. No, they're Owlman. Who's Dr. Midnight?
I thought it was Dr. Midnight. I thought it was a Midnight. Dr. Midnight.
Maybe. I don't remember now.
I don't know. I don't either.
We've never done Watchmen. Should we do Watchmen at some point in time? Mike doesn't want to. Have you seen the movie, though?
I have seen the movie.
Okay. So let's talk about
I want to do it.
Wonder Woman.
I know people love Watchmen.
The movie or the book? Oh,
people love it.
It's Alan Moore. It's
always that divide, against the end of the movie versus the end of the comic, all that kind of stuff. But to me, the HBO series was way better than the movie.
Fair enough. That's fine. I hate to tell you this, but the book's better than all of it. It is the only. It is the only graphic novel to appear on of any kind to appear on Time's list of 100 books you should read, not comics. Books.
That is an entirely different. That's an entirely different take on comics, especially if you time contextualize it.
Well, that's the thing. Alan Moore and Watchmen and what he did there with DC and what he never got right. The way he got fucked over by DC time and time again for this.
Such language.
Well, you used it, so I dropped it. But by DC for this. But what Watchmen did is it started and I think it's the same year then too, with Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, created the edgy, what's the word? Deconstruction. Because that's what Alan Moore did. He just deconstructed,
Well, it's also an adult comic.
Exactly. And it prompted it more, and you saw things go more dark, more grimy, and all that.
Love a grimy comic.
Anyway, but it was a big, that's a big catalyst that kind of also reinvigorated the comic book industry, too.
That's the guy at McDonald's. That's what his friends call him.
Grimmy. Okay, let's get into Wonder Woman, actually, today. We've talked enough. Let's talk about her first appearance here, All-Star Comics #8 from.
It's funny to see that first depiction of her, though. Her dress, her skirt is much bigger, and she has actual heels.
Here's what's funny too: is she's drawn in a skirt sometimes, but not in action. It's like shorts those times. But so Themyscira does not start off called Themyscira. It's start off called Paradise Island.
Okay.
And all the Amazons live there, but a plane does crash land on there.
Okay.
And it's being driven by Steve Trevor. So Steve Trevor is there from the beginning. Wonder Woman or Princess Diana carries Steve to the doctor, and they realize he's knocked out. And also, they're all surprised by they've never seen a man. We come to find out. So they go and they deliver him, and Diana stays around and just keeps wanting to help take care of Steve. And the doctor notices this and tells the queen about this, who is obviously Princess Diana's mother. Princess Diana, if you don't know, Diana is going to be Wonder Woman. So
paparazzi.
There's no paparazzi there. Who are you talking about?
Diana.
Yeah. Well, also her mother comes. Is Hippolyte?
Excuse me?
Hippolyte, isn't that how you say her mother's name?
God bless you.
Or Hippolyta. Sorry. Hippolyta.
Okay.
So.
You're saying like an H.
Yeah. Hippolyta.
Okay. So like.
The queen, her
mother.
mother.
Well, when you think back to like gods
mythology
and
Greek,
mythology. Yes.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to say.
Queen of Paradise Island, Hippolyta, is Diana's mother, shows up, and that's where she's like, I heard that there was a rumor of a man here. I needed to check for myself. And then they go to find, hey, go check his belongings. Let's see who he is. And that's when they find out that he's Captain Steve Trevor, U.S. Army Intelligence Service. And she's like, all right, we can't let him die. Let's go ahead and nurse him back to health, but make sure that you keep his eyes, covered. He can't see what's around him. They're very protective of their island there.
Yeah.
After the princess leaves, or the doctor leaves as the princess kind of watches over, and the queen asks, is he okay? And the doctor's like, yeah, no, I just wanted to let you know, Diana's just staying there a lot. She just doesn't leave.
Yeah.
And then Queen's like, well, I'm afraid. This was also one of the first things I saw that was strange in comics, but something at the time of how much text there was for this story. You see that there? Because it keeps going.
My God.
And that's how they tell it. But I'll give you the short version.
Wow. Thank you.
But she tells the princess not to hang out at the doctor anymore. Let him rest. Just don't hang out with the man. She's worried that Diana is falling in love with him, the first man she's ever seen. That She's just kind of grown infatuated with him and slowly growing in love with him. But this prompts her mother of like, mother, I don't understand. Like, I must see him. I must know who he is, like how he got here. Like, I love him. And she's like, no, like I was afraid of this. Let me tell you, like, do you know why we're here? It's men's fault, like why we're here in the first place. And she tells her the story of how Hercules, who you're familiar with Hercules, right, Mike? How Hercules was kind of being teased by other guys of not being able to best Hippolyta and the queen of the Amazons. If he was so strong, why couldn't he defeat her? But Hippolyta knew that Hercules couldn't defeat her because she had a magic girdle that I'm just explaining that Aphrodite.
I get it. I'm still okay
That's
with
fine.
tittering at the words magic girdle.
That Aphrodite had given her, the god of love.
Yeah.
And she knew that Hercules was no match. So they fight, and sure enough, Hippolyta defeats Hercules. Hercules, embarrassed by this, steals the magic girdle, finds a way to trick Hippolyta out of it, steals it, and then they enslave the rest of the Amazons.
Oh.
Because they can't have the women. Yeah, this is so they can't have the women being better than them.
Who knew it was a magic girdle that did it all?
So the women eventually grow tired of being enslaved to men, Hercules and the rest of his men. So they break free, steal the magic girdle back, and they take the ships and they go to find a place to be free from men. And that is where they discover Paradise Island, which is where they live there.
What did the magic girdle do?
It gives her like immense strength, kind of.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the girdle is a part of what she gives Wonder Woman then.
Okay.
When she, it's not said, but I just feel like that has to be. Like, why talk about it if it's not? You know what I mean?
I would think girdles at this time in the world were very popular.
Probably.
Yeah.
But she's like, so that's why we came to this island, to get away from that, and that's why we're here. You want to know about Steve Trevor? Here. I have this magic dial, which essentially like lets us kind of see into the future, see things around, to where we don't have to leave the island. We can see things that go on. And we get to see how Steve Trevor then crash landed on the island here, right?
Carthage, Egypt, England, America, Rome, Athens, and Troy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that existed back then.
They can see into the past, into the future in this thing as well. So we then see...
That was back when it was one big continent.
That's Pangea.
Yeah, it was Pangea.
There you go. We do see that Steve is investigating the spy ring, and he lets people know that he's figured out who has run the spy ring. It's a guy named Van Storm and his other lackey Fritz, right? So he wants to stop Van Storm and Fritz himself, even though the guy's like, "You're
Nazis, can you?"
He's like, "Nope." This is in 41. So
yeah,
like,
I know, I understand.
And so Steve's like, his superior's like, "You're our best agent, Trevor. Like, we don't want to lose you. Let us send a team out there." And he's like, "No, I feel like I need to capture him myself." Well, that goes wrong because he jumps on their car. They kind of throw him into a tree, knock him unconscious, gives him a concussion.
As will happen.
And while he's knocked out, they put him in a remote spy plane that they fly over American bases. And
those damn MAGA guys, look at them. Right there in this two.
They are.
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
They fly over.
You're gonna isolate part of our Nazi audience. Don't want to do that.
No, that's not it. I was gonna say something. I stopped myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm the good one.
Good. Release your bombs. He says.
They use the remote plane that they're flying. They have Steve Trevor passed out in this remote control plane, and they're flying it over these bases. And the actual plane is above him, and they're dropping bombs on American bases. But it looks like the remote plane is dropping it.
So it looks like Steve Trevor is dropping these bombs.
Yes, it does. And this remote plane that they have is they've made an American plane look like, so it looks like an American plane is dropping bombs on its own base. So they'll never suspect these Germans doing it.
He's been hoodwinked.
But Steve Trevor wakes up while they're doing this and decides to follow the spy plane, comes up to trail behind it. And the spy plane calls back. Is like, I can't bomb anymore. I'm being followed by Steve Trevor. And they're like, lose him. Like, we can't let him expose us. So Trevor follows him until he runs out of gas. And when he does, he crash lands onto Paradise Island. And it knocks him out again. That's how he got there. Now we're caught up.
Got it.
Well, Hippolyta goes and decides to sit in silence. And while she's waiting in solitude, the spirits of Aphrodite and Athena visit her and let her know how important Steve Trevor is. this American army officer for him to crash on Paradise Island. Like, they must deliver him back to America so he can help to fight the forces of hate and oppression.
Okay.
Because it's wartime.
Well,
We gotta.
this is also like she asked for a one that fights with love and things like that. So this all kind of plays into that. Yeah.
Exactly. And then we also get, yes, Hippolyta, American liberty and freedom must be preserved. You must send with him your strongest and wisest Amazon, the finest of your Wonder Women. For America, the last citadel of democracy, poor women, and equal rights for women. I need your help. Definitely not in the 40s. But so that is why they decide to have a contest to figure out who the best Wonder Woman is. Okay. Diana wants to participate, but Hippolyta tells her no because she doesn't want to lose her daughter.
That's why they're all wearing the big numbers.
That's why they're wearing numbers.
Gotcha.
But she doesn't want to lose her daughter because whoever leaves to go to America can't come back. Like, that is their job then, to go protect Steve Trevor and to also help America, right?
Sure. I got it.
She doesn't want to lose her daughter. So Diana understands she's not going to participate. There's a bunch of different tests, including running against a deer, where contestant number 7, who so happens to wear a domino mask, you can't tell who she is.
Who knows?
Happens to run faster than a deer.
Because this is a closed island full of Amazons, and they don't know who this one is.
Exactly, because she's wearing a mask.
That is quite a leap there, Wonder Woman.
After 20 events, they're tied between 2 women, the masked woman and another woman named Mala.
And a deer.
Mala does show back up at some point in time. I did not cover the adventures of Mala in there, but I know she does show back up in the story. So to decide the winner after 20, the 21st event, bullets and bracelets.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to decide who goes. So what happens is the
That
2
thing.
are going to face off duel style. I'm not going to show you the panel yet. And they're going to fire 5 bullets at each other.
Sure.
And the other person's supposed to deflect the 5 bullets, and then it's the other person's time to shoot. So Mala shoots at the masked girl, and the masked girl quickly just deflects the 5 bullets, right? By the way, here's the thing. You want to know about Wonder Woman's gauntlets, her bracelets?
Yeah.
At least how they originally, why she has them?
Yeah.
They wear them as a symbol to never forget what Hercules and them did enslave them. That's why they wear them, as a reminder of, like, never again will we let men hold us down.
That's the same reason I have.
That's
Never mind. No, that I was going to say something terrible.
Yeah, of
I was
course.
gonna say it's the same reason I have a Twin Towers air freshener in my car. I'm sorry.
I'm just telling you that's why they have the gauntlets there.
I'm sorry.
So Wonder
There's
Woman,
nothing funny about that.
Wonder Woman blocks them all. It goes time for Mala to block, and she misses and gets shot in the arm. And she goes, "Oh, my shoulder!"
Oh, wow.
So they're like, "All right, number 7, I'm sending you to America." And she removes the mask, and she's like, "Daughter, you!"
What?
And she's like, "I knew it. Like, I felt it was gonna be you anyway."
That's
of
how
course,
I snuck into my house when I was a teenager. I just put on a domino mask.
"Daughter, you!"
And they
That's
were
what
like-
your mom would say to you, Mike.
They were like, "Oh, a foreigner, sure, that's fine." What?
You
Every
know.
time.
So she's like,
Crazy.
"I had a feeling it would be you who won, so you can go ahead and go. And I've made this costume that's kind of very American for you."
Oh.
So
Well,
Diana,
that does kind of make sense at this point.
So,
Because you do
yeah.
wonder why she wears that all-American type costume there.
there you go. Now you
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
And I feel like the girdle might be a part of it, but I could be wrong. And it says, so Diana, the Wonder Woman, giving up her heritage and her right to eternal life, leaves Paradise Island to take the man she loves back to America, the land she learns to love and protect and adopt as her own. So that was our first story. Our second story, Wonder Woman shows up
That's the same run.
in Sensation Comics #1 from January of 42.
Okay.
And it is a continuation of our story.
Oh, thank God. It's
Right?
the invisible plane.
It's called the Transparent
Same
Plane right
thing.
now.
Sure.
Mike, the very second appearance of Wonder Woman, she has it.
Yeah.
I knew you wanted it. I had to
Yeah,
include this
it's very
because of
good.
it.
I love it.
I thought about just not including it, but I had to because of it.
I just want people listening or watching to understand when she uses this airplane, it is like she's just taking a squat in the sky and just like moving right along, and nobody can tell that she's even sitting in an airplane.
That's not true. In here, you can see a chair and the steering wheel and the bed. Like, you can see stuff floating.
Not my Wonder Woman, but okay, sure.
My bad.
My Wonder Woman was from Super Friends,
Well, fair enough.
and she was just like through the air by
So
herself.
Wonder Woman takes Steve Trevor back to America,
Okay,
rushes him to Walter Reed.
so he's still all effed up.
concussed. He's concussed still.
All right.
Drops him off, right? Inside, I love this line. She goes, "This is Captain Steve Trevor of the Army Intelligence. He's had a brain concussion. See that he's taken care of." And the doctor goes, "Who? What?"
That's the most.
And
that's
then
that's like the most realistic response I've ever seen in a comic.
It
Like,
is.
"Who? What?
And
What?"
then she runs out, and he goes, "But wait, who are you?"
That's
and she
perfect.
goes, "I'll send you a full report sometime. Bye." So Wonder Woman's just kind of a dick, and the doctor's just like,
Bye.
"What?"
I got to drop this baby off at the firehouse.
So 1942, William Moulton Marston's writing solid doctor. Here's the thing, too. I didn't tell you this. His pen name, when they print it, is under Charles Moulton. He
Okay.
didn't write these under his actual name.
Okay. Harry Dick or whatever his name
No,
is?
no. William Moulton Marston.
Oh, okay.
There's also a movie
Called Harry Dick, and I've seen that, and it's not as good as you would
No,
think.
here, I'll tell you about this.
Yeah.
Hold on. For those who want to know, or if you're interested, there is a movie with, Luke, what's his name?
Luke Wilson?
What's his name? No, Luke.
Cage?
Luke Evans,
Oh, sure.
who was in
Don't know him.
Beauty and the Beast, the
Okay.
Disney remake,
The
called-
live action one?
called Professor Marston and his in the Wonder Women. That's about.
Oh, you know what? I have heard of that.
That's about him and his wife and his girlfriend and the creation of Wonder Woman
Well,
and the kinky stuff they're into.
I
and
may
all
actually
that.
go watch that now.
Yeah. So there you go.
I have to go to a special place to watch it.
So, so she leaves, and then while she's out, she's looking at stuff. She wants to look at fashion because you know how women be.
Look at those old cronies.
And then
up
she
there.
hears, "Oh, this is a stick up." She's like, "Well, I better help out with this."
Oh, yeah.
And as she gets out, she's jumps through to stop and to help them, and they're like, it's a dame. Plug her and let's scram
her.
out of here. And they start shooting at her, and she goes, "Oh, it's fun to be playing bullets and bracelets." Like she treats it like a game again.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
gee. Ricocheting all the bracelets off. She grabs one of the thugs, just throws them at the other guys, just showcasing her skill. And the cop shows up and goes, "What's going on
I love
here?"
how she throws the guy at the other ones and says, "Catch."
Yeah, and
That's nice.
the cop goes, "What's going on here?" And Wonder Woman's just like, I don't know. I heard someone say, "It's a holdup. Goodbye." And she just leaves again. And she just takes off running.
I don't like the way she runs down at the bottom there.
Yeah. And
That is weird
So
looking.
a guy sees her and goes, "This is peculiar. I need to follow her." And so
Oh
he's
my
driving
God,
along.
Look at this guy.
And he gets up to 35 miles per hour, and she's still outrunning him.
Oh,
Gets
she
up
runs
to
like a
50,
gazelle.
Then gets up to at 80 miles per hour.
Whoa.
He finally is side by side with her. That is her running 80.
That is a
And he's like-
fast lady.
And she's like, "Get away from me." He's like, "Wait, I just have a proposition for you." And she's like, "Oh, a business proposition. What is it?" And he's like, "Well, see, I'm Al Kell, and I book acts in a theater, and your bullet act, like that could get us some money, right? You do, ricocheting bullets like that. I could,
Yeah.
take that. That's a stage act we could sell and make money off of." She's like, "Well, I do need money," so
Sure.
she accepts it
How does she know she needs money?
to buy stuff.
Yeah, but how does she know that?
I don't know. There's a
They
lot
didn't
of
have
stuff
money
like that.
on Fantasy Island.
Yeah, there's some of that stuff that she doesn't know that she
okay.
just assumes.
All right.
There's something that's about to come up that I don't get that's kind
Okay.
of like that.
Okay.
And clean up they do from their act, and so she works
clean
this.
up they did.
She works this act for a couple weeks until she sees this in the paper. Hospital authorities report that Captain Trevor has at long last recovered from his brain concussion, and that he's essentially been in a coma for 3 weeks. So he wakes up from his coma. Wonder Woman goes and tells Al, I'm done with the act. Like, Steve's woken up. I don't want this deal anymore. I don't need to make any more money. And he's like, we could have cleaned. Forget this. The money I was saving for her, I'm just going to take it all for myself and leave.
Oh,
That's
you
not good.
Sneaky bitch.
Wonder Woman hunts him down, right? Hunts down Al and takes all of her money back then. Is like,
Is there another kind of concussion other than a brain concussion?
no.
Okay.
Hunts mean promoter Al down and gets her money back that he was stealing. Throws him up, hangs him
Good.
from a light pole, and
He
then
needs it.
and then goes to the
Son of a
hospital
bitch.
to see Steve Trevor.
Okay.
As she arrives at the hospital, there's a woman crying on the steps of the hospital, and she goes,
Can't figure out how to work the steps.
She goes, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't mean to intrude, but can I help you?" And she's like, "No, it's okay. It just my fiance, he just got a job in South America, but he can't send for me because his salary's too small."
South America.
Yeah, his salary's too small. And she goes, "Oh, that's just terrible." And she's like, "Yeah, and I just started working here as a hospital nurse. Like, I don't know what to do." And she takes her glasses off, and she goes, "I just noticed you look a lot like me. You know what? Here, take this money. Go be with your husband in South America, or the guy you want to marry in South America, and let me be you. Like, give me your papers.
Oh, I see.
And
okay.
she goes, but I'm a nurse. And she goes, that's okay. I know how to be a nurse too. Wonder Woman does. Like, I'm trained to be a nurse.
I nurse all the time.
And she goes, oh, okay. So Wonder Woman goes, look, by taking your place, I can see the man I love, and you can marry the man you love. No harm done, for I'm a trained nurse too. Just a little money and a substitution. And so this other nurse goes, all right, I'd be happy to. All right, I'll do this. And so Wonder Woman goes, oh, by the way, my name is Diana. What's yours? Since I'm taking over your role, I should know your name.
Okay.
And the woman goes, what? This is an amazing coincidence.
What?
I'm Diana too.
No.
And she goes, Diana Prince. And you'd better remember the last name because it'll be yours now.
Womp, womp.
So Wonder Woman, the alias Diana Prince, is because she bought it off of a woman who looked
What's
like
her
her.
real name?
She was just Princess Diana.
Oh, okay.
But now she's Diana Prince because she bought this
It's not a
woman's
real stretch
Diana.
there, is it?
No.
Okay.
And this way she gets to look and watch over Steve Trevor and take care of him.
I
Well,
always want to call him Steve Rogers.
I know,
Like
but that's Captain
always.
America.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Well,
it's
Trevor
always-
reads the paper and realizes, oh no, this is not good. This is not good. And he just leaves in the middle of the night when
Everybody's
the
just
nurse
up
is
and
gone.
leaving in the middle of things.
Wonder Woman gets blamed because she left his room once and he left while she left his room.
Uh-huh.
But she goes to her secret hideout, changes into Wonder Woman, and she knows that, all right, Steve's going to go after these bombers probably that he read about in the paper, the ones that he...
Well, the bombers that were knocking him out and bombing things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he goes and he tells his captain, you know, like, I think I know where they're at. Like, I found their location once, to their secret base once.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they'll lead me to it again. Like, that's what he tells his superior, and his superior gives him a plane. And he goes up to try to stop the bomber, but his weapons can't penetrate the bomber.
Good to see you, pal.
And he decides
Take this plane.
he decides to just let his plane crash into the other airplane, and he ejects out of it. And as he's leaving, Wonder Woman's there to save him in her invisible jet, and she saves Steve Trevor, and he's like, you beautiful angel. Like, he always calls Wonder Woman his beautiful angel to begin with. Then she takes and they capture the other pilot who was leaving. And he's like, I'm going to die before I tell you the location of the secret island that you're looking for. But then here's what it is. Wonder Woman says, oh, don't worry. I looked at Mom's little magic scope because I thought we might need to know where the secret location of this island is before
Mom's
we leave.
little magic scope.
You remember the thing that she
Yeah, the one that said Troy and Athens and all that on it.
Yep. So they find the secret Nazi lab with all this poison gas on a secret island.
Yes, they do.
And they break it up.
Especially in the 40s.
And she rescues Steve, and she goes back, and she's able to take care of Steve back at the hospital because now he's broken his leg
Yeah.
in the
Steve's a
explosion.
very frail
So
little-
he is. So he's back in the hospital, and Diana gets to pretend to be Diana Prince and take care of him and watch
Diana
over
Prince,
Steve.
Professional nurse.
So the last two stories that we'll cover
Oh, thank you, God. It's the International Milk Company.
that I'm going to try to speed through a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
They're just more ridiculous. In this one, Wonder Woman finds out that there is a so Wonder Woman eventually becomes a secretary for the army. Okay, that's her role. She no longer is a nurse.
It makes sense at that time.
She becomes a secretary.
Yeah.
They can't find her. They tried to figure out where's Wonder Woman at,
Natural
or
progression of things,
where's
nurse to
Diana Prince
secretary.
at.
Yeah.
Well, she's out and about, and she comes across this woman crying because she can't get milk for her kids.
So many people crying on steps.
So Diana goes to buy some milk for the kid and realizes that it's 26 cents a quart, which is outrageous apparently
What
at that
the-
time. Yeah. And like, why is that? She's like, that's how high they're charging us at the International Milk Company. Like, I can't get it any cheaper. They've bought up all the milk.
They bought up all the milk. These
So
milk-hoarding bastards.
So Diana goes to visit them, realizes that they have
Not a
bought
teat
up all
in
the
sight.
milk. She wants to go see the person in charge, which is a guy by the name of
Mr. Milk.
it's like DuPont
Harvey
or
Milk.
something like that. Ah, dang it, I missed it. The president of the company is a guy by the
Mr.
name
Lactose.
of I don't know. Somebody. Anyway, through all this, she finds out that the evil milk company
Oh, no, she fell through the floor.
she does. The evil milk company has
Evil Milk Company.
they have spent
is the
$7 million to buy up all the milk supply, right?
Wow, what a deal.
And they're charging outrageous prices
This
for
is
people
19,
to have to buy it.
42?
42. And if
Okay.
they can't buy it, then they're not selling it to them.
Yeah.
But that's why people are having to sell milk so high, is to try to make money off of what they're selling it for.
Sure,
But they're
kinda
not
like
coming
eggs
down on their
today, yeah.
prices. And here's the thing. If they aren't able to say it, they just dump all the milk out like
Oh.
assholes. So, and she's like, but y'all are wasting all that milk. And the guy's like, I don't think you understand. We spent like $7 million to buy up all the milk in the first place. So, like, we need to make a profit here. We can charge what we want to. It's our milk. And she's like, but you're starving kids.
Yeah, you
And that's why it's important to Diana. Well, the guy's like, hold on, let me go. I'll be right back. He goes, makes a call. They tell him, like, you need to get rid of her. They drop her in the secret window.
Hey, can I
secret
tell you
window,
something real
secret
quick?
bottom door. Yeah.
$7 million in 1942
Yeah.
is the equivalent of $142,531,290.
That's a lot of money.
Cents.
A lot of money to buy up all
That's
the
a
milk.
lot of milk, baby.
They drop her down and they tie her up, and they decide, you know what, we're gonna choke her out, like drown her in milk
Sure,
in the
drown
back
her
of
in
a
milk.
container or milk truck.
Her skin has never been fresher, but she is dead
Because
as
they're
a
trying to
doornail.
figure out who from the army sent you to come figure out like what we're up to. She just stopped by on a hunch to figure out like why is milk pricing so high. So she's like, I'll never tell you. So like we're just gonna drown you via milk. And so they throw her into
Well,
this
I mean,
milk
come
truck and they start emptying vats in there. She like slowly floats up and she's
Use
like, oh.
what you got, you know?
Yeah, and they're like, who sent you? And they're like, I don't know. Nobody sent me. Oh, you're right. This will do wonders for my skin. And like, oh, shut up. And then I throw more milk
We
in
were
there.
just going to pour it out in front of orphans, but now we'll
Now
drown
we'll
you
drown
in it.
you in it.
Yeah.
And that's their time. They're like, this is your last chance. You know, and she's like, no, Spurt, I don't
Spurt.
like your
Spurt.
a compliment. A compliment? I can't read. A compliment.
I don't
Oh, my goodness.
like your
It doesn't matter.
accompaniment.
Thank you.
Accompaniment.
So they've caught her, like, when they kidnapped her
I
all
wish
this
it was
time.
like an evil cow.
Or
in
when she
charge of
showed
this
up to
international milk company.
when she showed up to investigate them before they
Yeah.
sent her in the trap door, she had this briefcase, and they're like, do we throw it away? The guy's like, we'll just let it drown with her, and they stuffed the briefcase in there and then closed the lid. Little do they know, she has her Wonder Woman costume in there, so she changes into Wonder Woman while spurting around in the back of a milk truck, and then she takes a sledgehammer. Hold on. Why is there a sledgehammer in the tub of this milk
Zach,
truck?
do you know nothing about the International Milk Company? I mean, come on. There's a sledgehammer in every international milk vehicle.
But inside the tank where they keep our
Inside the
milk.
tank for this very type of situation.
So
it's kind of like that little thing that you pull down if you get trapped in the trunk of your car.
it's a sledgehammer in case
Yeah.
you get stuck.
That's it.
So she grabs the
So
in case
simple.
of milk emergency brake side of vehicle sledgehammer, and she does that. She
Oh.
breaks a hole in it,
Look how happy those
and
cats
milk
are.
leaks out, and cats start chasing after the vehicle.
I love this.
And they're
This
like,
is my
wait, stop the
favorite so
truck.
far.
Why are there cats after us? Wait, there's a hole in the side of our truck. And Wonder Woman's like, yes, I saw there was a body in there that I needed to take care of, boys. And so she shows up, bullets and bracelets. Oh, it's so fun.
Are they going
Or-
to try to sell this milk after they've drowned somebody in
No,
it?
and she ties them all up. DeGippo was the
Digippo.
boss.
Sure.
And so she ties him with the lasso. She does have the lasso of truth
Okay.
early on, too.
Yeah.
And they're like, who runs this milk racket? And they're like, DeGippo says it was a dead woman. Apparently, there was a woman called the Baroness. It was a villain of hers already who they thought had died from electrocution. Spoiler alert, she has developed a machine that was able to bring her back to life, an electrical machine. So
Oh,
she
very
is
nice.
alive and running this milk
Yeah.
racket.
Good job, milk lady.
She lets Steve Trevor know, and she also
the
calls
hell? Oh.
calls Edna Edna or is it Eda? Hold on,
Edna.
Etta, Etta. She calls Etta Candy and her holiday college band. So it's just her and her college friends
Holiday college
to
band.
show up, and they have a parade. The International Milk Company is starving America's children. Wonder Woman rides in on a horse. Like, there's a marching band that plays, and they're all just like, yeah, woo! Fuck the International Milk
Fuck the
Company.
International Milk Company.
Down with them.
The IMC is
Starving
children.
America's children, yeah, to get the riot. And so somebody shows up with a note
The
to
cats
give
are
Wonder
so
Woman.
damn happy, though.
They are. And tells Wonder Woman, hey, show up at this place. Like, somebody wants to meet with you.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as Wonder Woman shows up, it's a bunch of people who try to shoot her, but she thinks, bullets and bracelets. But no, instead, ropes come down and they tie her up, right? Because Wonder Woman gets tied up a lot. Surprise, surprise.
Fish Skeleton Museum.
There's a lot of bondage in this, man.
Yeah.
Like she's shackled, she's tied up, she's chained. This time they're gonna put her in front of a milk tankard on a rail car and send her to her doom that way.
Yeah. That's
when the Baroness shows up and's like, I came back to life via electrical machine.
I'm the Baroness.
I'm gonna watch you die. But little do they know, once the tankard starts taking off, Wonder Woman breaks her chains and throws a log out in front of it, and then Steve Trevor and Etta Candy and the Holiday Girls show up, beat up the Baroness,
and all the babies show up.
And using the lasso of truth, she gets the Baroness to sign a confession of hey, I'm not dead, and this is what happened, and all that. So Wonder Woman breaks up the milk racket, and then you can see Wonder Woman is the queen of all the babies there. She just holds them there. Sure. The last thing that I just want to add, I'm not going to tell the full story, but it's something that I found funny. In Sensation Comics #9, so just 8 issues later,
right?
Remember how she bought that woman's identity?
Yeah.
I'll come back to that. That woman comes back in town. Her husband shows up and tries to fight Steve Trevor because he thinks that Steve's dating his wife, but it's because other Diana,
honest mistake,
is not. And she's just shown up and she's like,
very
no.
Three's Company kind of mistake.
Yeah, she's like, no, I want my job back and my identity back. And there's a whole story about that. But so Diana, not even 8 issues later, she's not cool in South America. She's like, no, I want my old identity back. So
look at that, Jack Dempsey endorses.
That's what I wanted. So this is what I wanted to close out. Well, there's 2 things I wanted to end with then. So yeah, Jack Dempsey was sponsored. That's what I was telling you about.
Trumbull or whatever.
Yeah, Alice Marble is looking over an advanced copy of Wonder Woman. They had special editors.
Alice Marble.
Of Wonder Woman.
Okay.
That were these women athletes and women Olympians.
That's actually kind of
exactly. So I was like, exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really cool, actually.
Well, they also had to throw Jack Dempsey in there, but sure.
Yeah, but I thought that was cool, and it's they interview her. Well, they're like Miss Marble, who is in her youth played Sandlot baseball with Joe DiMaggio. That's how they get Joe DiMaggio in there too.
Sure.
But I thought it was really cool, and in accepting the position of associate editor of Wonder Woman Quarterly, they would get these women athletes then to be associate editors too.
That is kind of cool. Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool deal. And also, Mike, you're gonna love this. This issue ended with hold on, Dawn and Nancy.
Kool-Aid.
It's an ad for Kool-Aid, but I want to tell you about Dawn and Nancy, man.
Yeah. But then I have to talk a lot about Kool-Aid bubblegum.
I've never seen Kool-Aid bubblegum. I
haven't either.
But Dawn and Nancy come to the rescue of the Sunday school picnic.
Sure.
And they all have a wonderful time.
They all have a wonderful time. They gave away the ending.
Well, that's the thing. So the teacher's like, you know what, children? I love that y'all are so thoughtful and y'all gave away all of y'all's picnic money to the Salvation Army, but we don't have money for a picnic now.
Oh,
and
it's
Dawn,
a real a magi situation here.
And Dawn and Nancy go, but Miss White, that's their teacher, there's $1 left. Can we use that to throw a picnic still? And the teacher's like, sure, you little shits. There's nothing you can do with $1.
Buy some Kool-Aid, you dumbass.
That's what it is. They're like, there's nothing you can do with $1, but yeah, go ahead, have at it. That's fine.
Did they understand that Kool-Aid does not a picnic make?
And so, well, just wait, Mike. And so she comes back, and to her surprise, you see the kids frozen suckers. Mine's orange. What flavor's yours? Root beer flavor. Man, this is the best ever.
Suckers.
Gangway, fellows. Ice cold drinks coming up. What flavor do you want?
Gangway.
Look, ice cream sherbet. I want some, Mary. And so they're sitting there ice cream sherbet, frozen suckers, and cool drinks, right? So the kids, they're like, oh, we were able to do this all on $1. Thanks to
Kool-Aid.
When did they
worship Jesus for Sunday school?
After they worship
okay.
Kool-Aid.
After our tummies are full of Kool-Aid.
Maybe this is why drinking the Kool-Aid became a thing, because these kids are going hardcore for it, but also it is related to Sunday school.
Ghana.
But I do love Nancy's like, oh, it was easy. Mother helped us a little, and Kool-Aid helped us a lot.
She stuck her
Mother
hand
always
right in the barrel.
saves money by using Kool-Aid. But Don comes in to let you know, I'll say a nickel package is enough to make 10 big frozen drinks.
What?
Or 20 frozen suckers. Or 8 big dishes of sherbet.
I am so tired of my phone ringing. I'm sorry.
We're almost done
I'm
with
very
this.
sorry. Yeah.
Do you need to answer it?
No, I don't need to answer it. I need to do something else.
All right. So,
Enjoy this interlude.
oh, it's on your phone. I was wondering where it was at.
It won't stop.
Oh, really? So Kool-Aid there can do all that, Mike, for just 5 cents a package. And it was in 7 delicious flavors. I wanted to look up the delicious flavors. Also, 1 cent each for bubblegum, and I had no clue that Kool-Aid even made bubblegum. But what were you going to say?
I had no idea that Kool-Aid made bubblegum, number
7
one.
Kool-Aid flavors. I want to see what the original ones
Does it
are, because
seem-
they said root beer.
Yeah, well, does it seem fair to you that an entire package is 5 cents, but one piece of Kool-Aid bubblegum is a penny?
Well, maybe it only takes, you can make 5 pieces of bubblegum from 1 package of Kool-Aid.
I don't know. It makes 5 delicious drinks, doesn't it?
Yeah, okay,
You know what it
7
said?
delicious flavors. Here we go. Let's look at this. So in 1930, so that's 41. In
I need to go ask my
39, they had 7 delicious flavors.
Okay.
Man, I want to, hold on. Can I say,
Grape.
I'm going to save this image. Please tell me it's a JPEG. This is going to mess up our stream, but you know what? I'm going to
Grape,
add something.
cherry,
Let me insert
root beer.
this as an image. I don't think I can.
Not sure why you would like Kool-Aid root beer, but okay.
I'm actually going to convert this. Have you looked up the flavors, or you waiting
No,
on me?
I'm just guessing.
Oh. I don't know where it's at. Damn it. Oh, here we go. All right, so there's like a green, like a pink, a couple pinks and a purple. Does it say where's it at?
Well, it's grape. You said green. That's either green apple or
It does say on there
Mint.
20 frozen suckers or 8 servings of sherbet. They were really selling that even back in 39.
well, if they had $1, right?
Dude, do you think we could get Kool-Aid to sponsor us?
No, but it was $1, right? So they bought,
Just no.
let's say, 19 packages.
I'm going
right,
to email
with tax.
Kool-Aid to see if we can just at least say that we're like, it's the official drink of Bros, Foes, and Heroes.
You know what
Are
I
you
have-
fine with saying that Kool-Aid's the official drink of Bros, Foes, and Heroes?
You know what I have to say about that?
What's that?
Oh yeah.
Sweet. Okay, I'm going to, I shit you not, I'm going to email them.
Good. Do it.
Fine, I
Don't
will.
threaten me with a good time.
I don't think they're going to email us back, but
Hello, Mr. Kool-Aid here. I love that idea.
Kool-Aid was created in 1927 and came in 6 flavors.
You know what they're gonna love?
The
Is fact
originals
that
were-
you
I found
said
it.
That that's how they killed people in Ghana.
I
They're
did
gonna
not
love
like.
that.
Fuck you. Now they're
But it
not
was
going
Flavor
to. And
Aid
me
anyway.
cursing's not going to
No,
help it
I
either.
just want to set the record
That
straight.
is
It was
true. It
Flavor
is
Aid.
Flavor
Yeah.
Aid that Jim Jones used, and
Yeah.
Kool-Aid does get a bad rap for it.
Jim Jones Jews?
Jim,
what you said?
Jim Jones used.
Oh,
Here you go.
my buddy Casey. His last name is Jones. His
I need-
dad's name is
Here's
Jim.
the thing. Yeah,
That's
keep talking.
unfortunate.
I need to create some space before we
Sure.
talk about this because I'm going to cut this and send this to them. Here we go. Kool-Aid was created in 1927 and it came in 6 flavors. You ready?
Wow.
The originals were strawberry,
Uh-huh.
grape, orange, cherry, lemon, lime, and
Yum.
raspberry.
Oh,
Then root beer was added, making it available in 7 flavors.
what a great idea to add root beer.
Is it just sarsaparilla?
Huh?
Is it just sarsaparilla?
Kool-Aid's the official drink of Bros, Foes, and Heroes.
Kool-Aid is the official
I
drink
love
of
it.
Bros, Frozen Heroes. Get you some.
Sometimes I just stick my finger down in the
It's
package
so
and
simple.
swirl it around in
Dude,
my
it's
mouth.
so cheap. All you got to do is water and sugar, and that's it. That is literally it. It
It's
is
always-
the drink of us. If I could have Kool-Aid, I would.
Oh, my God.
But
you,
I
you know what
can't.
people don't know?
Like, I mean,
I
well,
empty out every one of my sodas and just fill it with Kool-Aid.
you know what? They make sugar-free Kool-Aid now, Mike. Like the pouches, you can buy them zero. Have you had them?
I have had them, and they're delicious.
They are really. I love Kool-Aid.
You know what else? Sometimes
And
I'll
fruit
drink it
punch.
instead of having a Christian picnic.
How many Christian picnics do you have?
Well, I've had a lot of Christian picnics.
There you
Remember
go.
how I grew up.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. That is the origins of Wonder Woman. It was an episode. How do you feel about that, Mike?
I thought it was cool, honestly.
cool.
I did not know all that about Wonder Woman.
Yeah, no, she did a lot, and there's a lot back there, and it was fun to
I
take
wish I had a magic
a trip
girdle.
down memory lane. But now we'll also get to dive into Wonder Woman: Dead Earth next week, or at least
Yeah.
start it. We might have to break
Yeah.
that up one into 2. But this
When did
has
Dead
been
Earth come out?
like 2018.
Okay, so it's current,
29,
basically.
yeah.
Okay.
I thought we do old, we do new.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Mermaid Batman. We've kind of run a little bit late today, so we'll hopefully have it by Wednesday. If not, we'll have it sometime this week.
You say Mermaid Batman?
Well, sorry, Batmarine, not submarine,
damn it. I
Batmarine.
got so excited about Mermaid Batman.
There is Mermaid Batman.
Really?
Yeah, we will get Mermaid Batman too.
And it's
but
all just to sell you some sea monkeys.
it is. But until then, this has been Bros, Foes, and Heroes. Thank you guys for taking the time out to watch, to listen. As always, make sure to take the time out, if you have it, to check out all the other great shows on the Rogue Media family of stations of podcasts.
RogueMediaNetwork.com.
And until next time, stay safe, everybody.
Hey, kids. Gollycon.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.